I I just the fuck. I'm not one to be at a loss for words often, but when you have a show with barely any info on it, no source material, and I think this is a good way to explain the premise. Imagine all those conspiracy theories about 5G, right? But push it to 6G, and that's not good enough. We're at 7G. Some girl's trying to go to school. A cult kidnaps her pretty much and says, press the big 7G button. Reality shatters. 2-year time skip. Grandma and grandpa are animals. There's bloody handprints. The planets in the sky are all in one location that we can see close to us. A cult shattered reality, seemingly, and I'm going to call them that. They gave me some very bad vibes, but even if you want to just call them tech bros, I mean, it's pretty much a cult in itself. The idea that we have all this bullshit, we lost one of our closest friends and family, so what do we do at the end of the world? We go to Ikebukuro on a train, because why the hell not? Let's have a wholesome adventure, slice of life fun times, as everyone who is turned into animals slowly but surely gives into animalistic behavior, and I think that's why there was bloody handprints. Listen, I get it. There's like 6 shows that I personally want to watch on a Monday. At least 2 or 3 of those are getting pushed to a Tuesday review slot if I end up doing them for the channel. But I legitimately feel like this show was made for me. Between the background details that look like Heavenly Delusion in terms of how they detail their post-apocalyptic world, it's quite expressive. It's silly. Like, in general, it's more silly than scary. But there is this ominous, horror-like element just seeping in the background. And at any possible moment, someone could turn into a goddamn leopard and rip someone's face off. Or it could just be wholesome, weird fun times. I don't know. We're in a Madoka Magica-like world in terms of reality shifting. There's a damn old man who, like Frosty the Snowman, turns into his normal self back to crazy grandpa. The best part is if you haven't seen this episode yet, and you think I'm speaking gibberish, go watch the episode, because pretty much everything I just said is actually what happened. No joke. I have a full live reaction to whatever the hell I just witnessed of this show over on my Patreon if you want to see my full uncut thoughts. I think it's the most shocked I've been watching an episode ever. It's over there if you're interested. As a non-religious man, I'm praying to whatever gods are up above or might be, because goddamn, let this show be talked about. It's very early into the day, and it just started, so I have no idea. But while a show like Wonder Egg Priority may have not had great reception at the end of its run, Wonder Egg Priority blew up pretty quickly, and I don't think a show like this will, just because it didn't have a death. And that's, you know, it's, you can say whatever you want to say, but like, if there's a big death during an episode like this, it gets discussion going more. But anyone who watches this episode can tell it's something special. Even if it doesn't go dark, even if it doesn't go twisted, there's something special about this, and very few shows go as weird as this episode did. Some of the ones that come to mind are Wonder Egg Priority. You have stuff that went weird but wasn't really well received, like a Mayoiga. You have stuff like a Madoka Magico that twists magical girl stuff. But like, it's not a very common, what the hell am I watching reaction for this type of show. And for me, this is, whatever you want to call this genre. I don't care if it's slice of life, I don't care if it's action, just this mind trip, this mind fuck of a dilemma that you watch is one of my favorite experiences in the anime medium, and you never quite know when they're gonna pop up. I had a sneaking suspicion this one might be one of those, because while LiveChart didn't have a description of the show, My Anime List did. The previews didn't really give me much, but, you know, just the way the community was like, maybe. I was like, okay, one of 2 things is gonna happen. It's gonna be a whatever show or some girl's gonna die by the end of episode 1. And while it definitely wasn't 1, and it so far isn't 2, there is something interesting about this, because when she pressed it, I assumed the world was gonna end. I wasn't expecting the Madoka Magica like reality warp and how they... I hope that's not a one-time thing. I need to see more of that, because that was so freaky, so cool, and just like, I was like, I don't even... I can't even formulate thoughts right now. It was so cool. It was that cool. And then they do a 2-year time skip, and people are I'm thinking, okay, my initial gut reaction when I saw talking animals was, oh, if we're dealing with some 7G conspiracy bullshit, I bet they ripped human souls and they were like in the clouds, so some people developed like some robots to put them in. You know, I'm thinking the human consciousness inside a robot. Apparently they're just animals. Like, I ain't gonna be able to predict this show. Because honestly, my idea made sense, especially with the premise being like 7G ruined the world and split reality, like the multiverse was kind of shattering. Made sense. Apparently they just turned, and they brought up a question I also didn't think of. So their dog, who was always a dog, their shock never turned into a human, which maybe would happen over time, I don't know. But the fact that there's this moment, and it was a little freaky, and they immediately touch upon this afterwards, so I know I'm not crazy. So one of the quote-unquote humans, really they're all animals at this point if I'm being honest, they try to jump one of the girls, and they think like about meat and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I thought they were just gonna make a perverted joke, because I know how anime can be. I was like, oh, it's just some horny old grandpa or something doing something. No, it's giving into animalistic urges. So the idea that over time, the assumption is they'll lose more and more of their humanity. And depending on what animal you are, you would just be a pet. Others, they would try to rip your face off. And then they show this moment. So there's like this restock of like normal looking humans giving food and supplies for the different animals. And there's bloody handprints all over that door. Now, that could be a couple of things. That could be someone being brutally killed, trying to escape from whoever's slaughtering them, some eldritch horror being, I don't know. But then you look up in the sky and the planets are all like that. This is weird. This has me intrigued. And if this show gets slept on, I'm gonna be so incredibly salty. Even if this wasn't as fun for you in the first episode, you have to admit, this shit is intriguing and unlike anything I saw last anime season. And unless we get a couple more shows that are what the hell, who took LSD and came up with some conspiracy theories about 5G, this one's going to be hard to top for WTF moments of the season or even the year. The vibe of the cast seems cute, seems fun, which means it's going to be great for killing, but they may not kill anyone, and that's okay. The biggest thing for me is I want to see what the hell is this 7G warped reality. Why does one location still have seemingly normal situations going on where everyone else has to make sure they're not blowing fuses because they don't know if the electricity will go out for good? There is a lot to ponder here, and this would be a very fun show to theorycraft weekly. So let me know if you want to see not only more videos on this, because if YouTube doesn't mess with this, this will be a Patreon exclusive. I don't know if it'll be a Monday or a Tuesday show, but if it does well enough, one of those two. But what the fuck did you think of this episode? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and of course ring that bell so you can notify when I upload more. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Jorid, Kathy Coleman, Jacob McDougall, Death Note, and Sarah Lounge. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.